I watched something today that reeked of horror on 3 or 4 different levels. I'll try to take them in order. Trump announces to corporate media, these poor miserable sons of bitches, that he's going to make a big announcement today. So the cable networks, like the crazy sons of bitches they have become where it concerns Trump, they're like fucking drug users. Trump is like the worst kind of brown heroin. Mexican mud. And they got to have their fix, these goddamn networks. So what do? They show up at what is essentially going to be a hotel opening. Trump's hotel in D.C. But there go the cable networks. Stupid, miserable sons of bitches like malpractice. It's being called on the web. What these cable networks did today is journalistic malpractice. Because once they found out that this was a manipulating event where Trump had no fucking intention whatsoever of doing anything except what he always does. And that's use these gullible sons of bitches who make up corporate media. Over and over and over again, he uses them. So I'm sitting there watching this, and before Trump struts out, like he does, he walks out like he has a 2x4 right up his ass. You ever notice that? He's got that. I think he thinks it's an arrogant, self-possessed walk. It looks like somebody with a board up their ass. But out he comes. Before he comes, I'm looking at that, the feed. Like an asshole, I'm watching MSNBC. I could have watched any cable network, but I'm watching MSNBC. And there's a stage, and there's a bunch of middle-aged or older white guys standing there. Back in the corner, oh, there's a black guy. Oh, there's a black woman. But here are all these ugly sons of bitches, these white men just standing there. Most of them overweight. Most of them looking like they were on an all-night drunk. Oh, but they have nice suits on. And then I notice 2 of them standing there have what? Congressional Medal of Honor around their necks. Now, let me just say something about the Congressional Medal of Honor. The whole idea behind the Congressional Medal of Honor was to honor people who commit acts of heroism way beyond the call of duty, not duty, but beyond the call of their natural instinct to flee. Fight or flight. People in combat who perform those heroic acts where they put their own lives at even greater risk. I mean, they're in a fucking war. What? That's risk right there. But they put their lives at greater risk to save a comrade, to protect people, wounded comrades. And they may attack a machine gun nest. They may, whatever it is they do, those are true acts of heroism. Forget the political reasons they're in the war to begin with. In that moment, what they do is an act of heroism. Now, let's be clear. When that happens, they're not saying, well, I'm going to kill all these fucking enemy because I love America. I'm going to commit acts of heroism because I really like the flag. No, they don't. Ever. If any thought goes through their mind at all, it's to perform these acts of heroism to protect their buddy. I've never been in combat, but I've known a lot of people who have. And they tell me that when you're on a battlefield, you don't give a shit about anything except coming off that battlefield alive, A, B, protecting the people who will protect you. if the occasion rises. This bullshit that they get a Congressional Medal of Honor for defending America is the biggest fucking lie ever put out there for the military. They do not defend America when they win their Congressional Medal of Honor. Never, not once. They're defending their friend, themselves, in a moment of abject terror and horror. They're not saying, oh, well, I'm going to do all this because I love my country. But every goddamn president or president wannabe who awards these medals of honor make the statement. They may give the details of what the Medal of Honor winner did, but the overarching argument or statement is that they did this to protect America. Our way of life. Fuck our way of life. Are you kidding me? You want to know how perverted our way of life is? Did you look at that press conference today? Not press conference. Did you hear that weaselly son of a bitch Nazi stand up there at the very end and absolve the President of the United States? So the cable networks are there, and I see these men standing up there, and I see a couple of Congressional Medals of Honor. And then this miserable Nazi fuck comes walking out, Trump, with the board up his ass. And the first 5 minutes, he's talking about the hotel that they're in. This is a great hotel, one of the greatest in America, probably one of the greatest on the world. He goes on and on about the goddamn hotel. Meanwhile, the military contingent behind him are standing there looking all neutral. And how many times did he say, we have flag rank officers here, we have general officers here, we have admirals, we have this, we have that. Like he's a fucking collector, like he's collecting baseball cards, which is what he's doing. And they're all here to praise me. What have I got? I got 160 of them now. Probably more than that. It was at that point where I didn't know whether to weep, because that's what I felt like doing, or throw up, because I also felt like doing that. Maybe it had to do with the pneumonia. I have no idea. But it was a contest. Do I reach for the tissues or do I head for the John? Well, I reached for the tissues and I stayed there and I watched more of this shit.